Welcome to my YouTube channel, PFGMRx. I am your host, Roy Pickett. I'll be providing you with my insights and opinions about the choices and decisions general managers face and make throughout the year. In my last video, I broke down my ideal offense and what it would look like. In this video, I will examine the defense that I put together for my fictional team, the Royals. In 2011, I put myself in the position of a newly hired general manager picking for a bad team in the top 10. It's my philosophy that bad teams need more talent and should improve the trenches as soon as possible. So with that, I traded down and drafted Cameron Jordan with my first pick as a general manager. I placed him next to Linval Joseph, who was already on the roster, and then the following year I added Mississippi State defensive lineman Fletcher Cox, and in 2016 I was able to get the other Mississippi State Bulldog, Chris Jones. You'll notice that I have 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder. I don't mind spending heavy assets on the defensive line. These 3 players make up about $23.4 million in salary cap usage, which is 12.4 of the salary cap. Here I have my linebackers. I had Jabal Sheard, and I cut him last season and replaced him with Chase Winovich in the 3rd round. I was able to get Matt Milano and Devin Kennard as 2 5th-round linebackers, and Demario Davis I utilized a 3rd rounder. So these are my starting linebackers. They make about $15.9 million between the 4 of them, which is about 8.4% of the cap. Here's all of my cornerbacks. I got a lot of them. I believe that it's very important to have people that can cover, but I'm in a serious situation here with $29.2 million, or 15.5% of my salary cap being spent on these guys. More than likely, I'm only going to have 3 of them on the field at a time, because I'm getting top heavy with Casey Hayward and Xavier Rhodes's contracts. I was able to select DeAndre Baker in the 1st round in 2019 in hopes that I could potentially restructure or trade one of the higher price cornerbacks that I have on my team, because I've got too many assets in this one little area. And here are my safeties. I have Kevin Byard and Sean Williams. A lot of times I see people who want to go and draft a 1st round safety like Minka Fitzpatrick. I think I can find good safeties in the 3rd round. Here are my 2 guys at $8.5 million, or 4.5% of the salary cap. So those are the faces and the names. This is what my base defense would look like, and I kind of showed this in a previous video, but I just wanted to kind of retouch on how it looks. On the defensive line, it looks like a 3-4, and I saw Wade Phillips utilize something similar to this when they played the Cowboys last year in the playoffs. I saw Dante Fowler in this strong outside linebacker position, and Mark Barron was playing in this coverage linebacker that I've kind of put the name on, because his main job as a linebacker was to cover the tight ends and the running backs. And he had played safety in college, so he has those kind of coverage skills that some of the other linebackers did not. In the middle, I show what I call a blitzing linebacker. That's sort of how Romeo Crennel was utilizing Jadeveon Clowney last year. He was not having him pass rush from the outside of the left tackle, but he would have him in the A-gap blitzing up the middle. And the other guy is my tackling linebacker. He's got a lot of responsibility, more than everyone else. I'll show that in a minute. So here, putting those names, I got Cameron Jordan as a 4 technique going up against the right tackle, Chase Winovich against that tight end to get pass rush. There I show Kennard hitting into the gap. He may be able to get in between the right guard and right tackle. Fletcher Cox has center to beat. Chris Jones is playing a 3 technique where he's going in between the left tackle and left guard, and that leaves Davis to kind of decide where he needs to go. Does he need to hit that A gap, or does he need to make sure he has contain on the outside? Another thing that you'll notice, I have Xavier Rhodes as my top cornerback, and I have him going against a Z wide receiver. And basically, I'm just putting him on an island against their second best wide receiver and having him hold down the fort. Conversely, Owuzie is on the X, and he's got Kevin Byard over the top for his safety net. So this is what my nickel defense would look like. I would take out Devin Kennard and bring in Desmond King to play the slot. Sean Williams is going to be responsible for the tight end, and Matt Milano is going to be playing in that coverage linebacker, going up against a guy like James White or Alvin Kamara. Somebody who's going to be a pass threat. I want to make sure that I got a guy on him. That's in man situations. If I'm in a zone, I may have Milano and King over there with Winovich and Williams kind of looking out for those three guys. Going to take a look at a nickel defense now that has a more heavy rushing threat in the backfield. So I take out Milano and bring in Kennard to basically stop the run, because a lot of teams are using 11 personnel, like up to 66 to 80% of the time, and they still want to try to run out of it. So if they have a running back that I don't feel very scared about him getting out on a passing route, I'll keep Kennard in there to take him out as a running threat. So here's a 5-1-5 defense where I'm blitzing. I take Winovich and I put him over on the Leo side where he's against the left tackle. I got Jones, Cox, and Jordan still there, but I'm going to bring Kennard up into that blitzing A-gap. I got King and Rhodes and DeMario Davis. So that's what my 5-1-5 defense would look like. Obviously, there's a lot of different variations. I want to run man at least, like I said, 55% of the time, but there are times when your players need to know how to play zone. So I want to have versatile players doing things that they do well, and having the defense coordinator the ability to be flexible. So it looks like kind of an all-star team, and you might be kind of wondering how I pulled this off. Well, here's where they were drafted. Chris Jones, second rounder, 2016. Fletcher Cox was a first rounder. Like I said, Cam Jordan was a first rounder. I got those guys in 11 and 12. My linebackers were fifth rounders and third rounders. My safeties were third rounders, and my cornerbacks were basically first and second rounders, with the exception of Desmond King I got in the fifth round and Anthony Brown in the sixth round. Of note, in 2017, I have two fifth rounders, Matt Milano and Desmond King, because I traded down in the second round to get extra picks. And so that's how I got them. And you can see their heights and weights. My defensive linemen are all 6'4" and above, 287 and above. My linebackers are 6 foot, 6'3", 6'2", 230 to 256 pounds. I have my prototypes that I like, and I kind of explain all of that in my book as well. So that's my book. You can find it now on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, and you can read more about how I put this team together, both the offense and the defense, and the type of coaches I would be looking for if I were the general manager to run my franchise. Please like this video. You can follow me on Twitter at PFGMRx, and that concludes the video. Thanks.